Hi, and happy Monday. This is Janet Leonard. I am the founder and CEO of Virtual Instructor, and this is our Monday Live. So every day, or every Monday, I should say, we come to you at 11 a.m. Pacific with some kind of 15-minute great tip or tool for you. So today, I'm going to demo a program that I've been using for years. It's called SnagIt. And I'll be honest, I don't think I use even a tenth or a fifth of all the amazing cool things that you can do with it. But I'm going to give you an overview of it, and I'm going to actually demo it. So this is a tool for screen capture. So I know there's like snippet tools and all that. This takes it to the next level. It's just pretty darn amazing. So I am going to go ahead and pop over and show you my screen now. And the first thing I'm going to do is a little bit of housekeeping, but there's also a reason to this because some people might still be logging in, and I want to make sure everybody hears all about the amazing stuff that you can do with SnagIt. If you do like these Monday Lives, you can go to our website at virtualinstructor.com and simply click on Monday Live Events Calendar. And then that will take you over and it'll show you what we're talking about. So today we're talking about SnagIt. I think you're going to love this tool. If you're an Excel or a Google Sheets user, I'm going to talk about different Paste Special tools that you can use, which are amazing if you work in spreadsheets. And that will be next week. The following week on Labor Day, and remember these are recorded as well, I'm going to show you how some tips and tricks on working with graphics in Word. And then for those of you that are Microsoft users, on September 13th, I will give you an overview on Teams. It's amazing how many people are afraid of Teams until I show them how to use it. They're like, oh my goodness, are you kidding? So there's a lot to Teams, but it's really cool. Alrighty, so enough of that. Let's start talking about SnagIt. So SnagIt's a capture tool. It's made by TechSmith. And if you sign up for those lives, you'll actually get the Monday Lives, you'll get an email recap of today's talk, and it will have the links and a little bit of overview of what we talked about. Alrighty, so on here you have, now I usually just turn on the SnagIt tool and I keep it set to the default, which is region, and then I just kind of capture whatever it is I want. And I'll show you how that works. But there's so much more to this. So now the funny thing is the only thing I wasn't able to capture with SnagIt was this SnagIt dialog box. So I had to use the plain old snippet tool for that one. But I'm going to go to the next slide. And if you were to click this little drop down for selection, here are the different options. Region is one I usually use. You can tell it to copy the entire window, and the window instead of the full screen. You might have your window not maximized, so that's the difference between window and full screen. And I'm going to show you scrolling because that's kind of cool. You can do panoramic, and I'm also going to show you how to do grab text because that's amazingly cool as well. All right, so that's just the selection part of it. And I'm not going to be able to get into all the cool features, but right now we're just talking about image. By the way, you can do video as well, but we'll just focus on image today. You can also, when you're capturing something, you can deal with the borders, filters, shadows. Look at all these different things that you can do. Image resolution, that's kind of cool too. So you can actually adjust the image resolution for those of you that are a little more techie when it comes to working with images. And then when you go with, this is really cool, when you want to share it, I typically will share it. It'll go on the clipboard and then I paste it in anything I want. I will say I do that 99.99% of the time. But if you use SnagIt to capture something, you can then share it. You can save it to a file, which I do quite often. I will say that one. You can email it. If you know about FTP, you can FTP it. You can send it directly to the printer. I will say I usually do the clipboard, save it to a file, or send it to the printer. But you can pop it right into Word, PowerPoint, OneNote. Screencast is TechSmith's kind of version of Vimeo. So if you have a Screencast account, it can go directly in there. Look at all these others. Camtasia is another program by TechSmith. I use that all the time for creating and editing videos. So even though you can do videos here in SnagIt, then you can take it into Camtasia and do even more with it. And you can go to your Google Drive, SharePoint, OneDrive for Business, a whole bunch of different things. So that's pretty darn cool. You can do some neat things. All right, so let's pop into the SnagIt demo. Now, I have SnagIt opened already, so I'm going to bring it up. And this is the SnagIt dialog box right here. Alrighty, so I'm going to keep it with just the region right now, and I'm just going to use this little screen right now to demo something. So with the region, if I just keep region and I just click capture, and by the way, I have it set to the default, which is the print screen key as my default to also trigger or turn on SnagIt to capture things. If you're a OneDrive person, OneDrive always wants that, but you just tell it to use SnagIt and then SnagIt takes over that print screen. So I'm going to click on capture and you can see this little capture. Now, if you look, notice there's a big cross, and then actually it looks like you're not seeing, I'm not sure if you're going to see this on the screen. I can, oh, that's a little bummer, but I'm going to go ahead and capture it. And hopefully now you can see that it's, whoops, let's close this. I'm now put into the SnagIt editor. So you weren't able to see me actually do the capture. That's a bummer. But they have a 15-day trial, so you can give it a try. So here I captured it, right? Now I'm going to go ahead, and by the way, you can see I have a whole bunch of different things. It's got a great library. I have years of stuff that I've captured, and it's in the library, so I can always get to it. I'm going to minimize this for a second, and I'm going to move over to an actual website now. I think this is the one I want. Yep. Okay. So here's my actual website, and I'm going to bring back up SnagIt so you can see it. So again, you've not seen the capture part. So let me minimize this. Sorry, I thought you'd see it. Okay. So I'm back over and I'm at my virtual instructor webpage, and here is the SnagIt little dialog box. And I'm going to change it from region to scrolling window. Then when I do that, you might see there's like this little gearbox. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to tell it to capture. I'm going to say start at the top left of the window. So I'm going to turn that on, and then I'll tell it to capture. And you may have to, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got like a little tiny dashed orange line. And I'm going to click in here. And now it says it's scrolling, and notice it's scrolling through this. And when it finishes, check this out. It pops me into the SnagIt library, and look at that. It copied that entire window. So then I can go ahead, and while you're in the library, you have all these other things you can do, and you can edit things. It's just amazing what this program can do. Sorry, I can't tell you everything in 15 minutes, but if you go to File, then you can save it, you can print it, you can do a whole variety of things. So that was just one of many things that you can capture. I'm going to minimize this, and then I'm going to bring back that good old SnagIt dialog box so you can see it. So in the selection, all I did was change it to scrolling window. I'm going to put it back over to region for a second. That's the default. And I'm going to show you there is another option. So if I'm in region, I can go to effects. And in effects, you can do a whole bunch of effects. But one thing that's kind of cool is this effect called trim. Because sometimes when you're trying to get specifically what you want and you don't want the background around it, you can kind of strain your eyes by trying to get there. But if you choose trim, it will actually trim it. So before I do that, I'm going to keep it at none so you get to see the result. And I'm going to use my home page again. And I'm going to scroll over. I'm keeping region and none. And I want to get this little video. By the way, if you want to see a funny video, come on over and watch this one. This is actually from a real class, but it is pretty funny. So I'm going to turn on my SnagIt capture. And you can't tell, unfortunately, because it doesn't look like it. But I'm actually going around, including a white border around this. And then when it captures it, you might be able to see now we're in the editor and I have that white border. So I could edit it by trying to drag this in a bit. I mean, you can do so much with it, right? But instead, I'm going to minimize this and back over. And this time I'll keep it as the region, but I'm going to choose trim. and I will select the same area I did before. So I don't really have to worry. I'm just going to select kind of the white border around it. Oh, whoops, minor detail. I forgot to turn it on. Let me go back over here. I do that a lot. So you pick it, but then you have to go to the little gearbox, and then you can choose how much at the left or right or whatever. I want the whole thing trimmed. So I turn it back on. Minor detail, right? Okay, then I'll capture it one more time. And again, you can't tell, but I am including the white background. And then see when it comes in, it automatically trimmed it, which is pretty slick. Saves a lot of time. I do a lot of screen captures because we create training guides, so we do a lot of screen captures. And I'm going to show you some other little tricks with this in just a moment. Okay, I'm going to minimize the library. So that's where the result of whatever SnagIt takes, right? And now I'm going to move down over to this text area. So normally, if you see text on a web page and you use some kind of snippet tool or SnagIt, you get a picture of it, right? But what if you want this text and you don't want to have to rewrite it? Well, what you can do is, again, you pick whatever you want to use. And in this case, I want to grab the text. So I'm going to do the grab the text. I don't have any effects. And I'll turn on the capture. And now I don't think you can tell, but I actually selected the text. I come in here and you see it said grabbing the text. So now I'm going to copy this. So this is the picture, and I'm going to copy this portion, and that's the actual text. So now I'm going to pop into Word, and here I'm in Word, and all I'm going to do is paste it. So I just did a Control V, and look at that. It pasted the text, so we don't have to retype it. How cool is that? So if you ever find things and then you're finding yourself retyping something or whatever, SnagIt will do that work for you. So, all right, just a couple more things to show you. And I hope that you decide you want to go get SnagIt. And you can just Google it. It's over at techsmith.com, but you can Google SnagIt and you'll get there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get out of the editor. Whoops, choose close. And out of the editor. And now I want to show you the way I typically use this. So I'm going to go back to region and just plain none. And this is another really slick way to use it. And then I'll wrap up because we don't want to go too much over the 15 minutes. I'll pop into Word again. And let's say when we write our training guides, we like to have it very step-by-step. So we select whatever tool we're talking about in the class or the training guide. So let's say I want this. Well, no, that's a little too easy. I'm trying to find one that's a little more work to capture. Well, I'll go ahead and choose this one. So let's say I want to choose this particular tool. And so I'm going to turn on the SnagIt tool, and then I'm going to capture it. Now you can't really see, again, it's not showing you how I'm highlighting it, but I'm going to come capture it. And now you can see it's over in the editor. Now we might, when we're doing our manuals, this part here might be confusing to people. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, and then move over. I'll move up a little bit. And I'm going to use the selection tool. And I'm just going to select this part of it and hit the delete key. And then I can leave it blank if I want to have text flow into it so it's actually transparent. Or I can go to this little bucket and choose whatever color I want. I'm going to use the eyedropper to give me white. And then I'll just fill that in. I'll change the zoom. And they have all these great tutorials. So if you like SnagIt, don't feel like you have to memorize what I just showed you because they have really good tutorials. Then all I'm going to do is choose copy all. And by the way, I can add text. You can add so many different things in here, but I'm just going to choose this. And then I can pop back into good old Word. And whoops, let's go back to Word. I'm going to have to cheat and go get my Word document. Where are you, Word? Here it is. All right, so I'm back over into Word, and I'm just going to go to a new page. So all I did was Control Enter to give myself a hard page break. And then if you've been in some of my other demos, you might know about this fun little Easter egg, which is a quick way to get some text in here to play with. So I'm just going to type in equal RAND, so RAND, open and close parentheses. Then as soon as I hit enter, watch, I get some text. And now I will go ahead and paste in that little object that I just did. And then if you are a graphics person, if you've worked with graphics at all in Word, you can select the little image and go to this little tiny box here. And then you can tell it how you want the text to wrap around. So I want it to wrap around this, and I could move it around, and there it is. I just took my screen capture, popped it into my Word document. So hopefully that gives you some ideas of different ways that you can use SnagIt. I'm going to pop back over to my PowerPoint for just a moment. And just a reminder, if you like these little 15-minute demos on a Monday morning to give you some kind of little tips on how to hopefully help the rest of your week go a little faster with some of the tools you're using, then go on over to our website and you can sign up for our Monday Lives, and you'll get an email reminder about an hour before the talk. And then you'll also get a recap of what we talked about. So thank you so much for coming to today's Monday Live, and I hope you enjoy using SnagIt. It is a great tool. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.